Hey guys, so today we are going to talk a little bit about the clock, time. So let's get into it. Now, what do I mean by time? Well, I mean basically that you have a timer on you right now. You may not know it, and nobody has probably told you this. That's why I'm here, to offer you a little bit of perspective and at the same time try my best not to scare the absolute living shit out of you. But let's get to it. So for this to make any type of sense, we need to have a little bit of context. And the context we need is that it wasn't all that long ago I spoke to a person who reached out and asked me for some advice, which I think was very flattering. It was pretty nice to be put in a situation where, hey, my opinion actually affects another person's, decision process. And I always take that responsibility very, very seriously, because I don't want to send somebody down a route where they might end up somewhere they don't want to be. So the question this person posed to me was to basically wonder whether or not he should go with a job offer. He had two at the time. One was focused on highly specialized work, developing a very, let's just call it a very niched type of library. And the other was to develop a standard CRUD application using MySQL and a few other things. I think I can't remember the exact language now, but a standard CRUD application. And he had a hard time deciding which job to go with. So I thought about it very carefully, and I told him the thing I want you to be aware of. And I said, my friend, if you had been here in front of me saying that, hey Frederick, I have been working for a few years now and I'm bored with the thing I'm doing right now, but I'm unsure if I should go with this thing or that thing, then I would have told you that, maybe trying out something different, maybe trying this highly specialized job or this library development project that you've mentioned might be the way, like the refresher that you need. But you're not that person. You are a junior starting your first job. And whether or not you know it, you have a timer on you. And he goes, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by timer? Well, you see, my friend, you only have a few years where you are allowed to be a junior. That is true. You only have a few years, and those years will fly by. And you see, the thing about being a senior is that once you get to be a senior, people will expect things of you in a much broader sense and have much higher expectations of you than they have when you are a junior. You see, the scariest part about being a junior is that you are afraid that you won't get a job. You're afraid that you're not good enough. You're afraid that you won't have the necessary skills, or you won't be relevant, or there's a million things that you can mess up, right? But as a senior, the path is and the expectations are a little bit different, but not so different as you may think, because when you're a senior, you may not be so scared that you're not going to get a job, but you're going to have this anxiety over, are you good enough? Because the question is, are you good enough? When you are a senior, the stakes are much higher. People will expect more of you, you get a higher pay, and you are expected to produce pretty substantial results fairly quickly, depending on your level of seniority. And that's something which you will not have as a junior. So if you think about it, that means that right now, your first job and the following years that you're going to work, you are going to start working towards the industry expecting you to have certain knowledge. In other words, if you work for 5 years on a highly specialized project and you, for some reason, lack what the industry is going to expect of you on your next job or the third job or whichever, if you lack or you have severe holes in your knowledge, you're going to have the following words. Yeah, you seem to be very relevant because of your experience, but I suppose we expected more from you. That's what's going to happen. People are going to dismiss you, and that is, like, trust me, guys, if you think it's scary to be a junior trying to get your first job, hearing those words after 10 years of work experience is a lot scarier. A senior who has lost their relevancy or lost their flair or their market value, well, that is a much tougher horse to get back up on too. It's really tough. Because if you have gotten to that point where now you can't even be a beginner, like you're expected to have knowledge that you may have not actually acquired because you have done something very niche or something that is outside of what people in the industry generally consider a person of your skill level. You know, these things that you should know, you simply don't know for whatever reason. If you don't have that, you are all but worthless to the industry. And that's not fun. That's really not fun. So for you, as a junior, it is vital, and this is what I've been saying in many of these different videos, it is more important for you to get the right job, the right start, and get the right skills when you have for your first 5 years than it is to get the highest pay. Because if you get the highest pay at a very niche type of specialized job, you will lose your market value. Because you will only be good at something maybe very specific to that one company or a very small amount of companies. And that is not going to keep, unless you work there for the rest of your life, that is going to be a very dangerous thing for you. And it's actually it happens more than you think. So my advice to this person was to do the boot camp, guys. Do the boot camp. The boot camp is to learn regular old boring software development like everybody else. Because once you have learned the basic everyday skills of software development, you can do whatever you want. Because now you have at least a base value and you can feel confident in that even if something doesn't work out, there's always someone else out there. There's another company who is looking for your particular skill set. But the clock is ticking. You only have, as I said, you only have a few years to be a junior. And once you pass those years, people are going to expect things of you immediately. Now, they're not going to expect you to be as productive as people who've been working for like at that specific company and like on day one, but they're going to expect you to be like more experienced. They're going to expect you to know things. You're going to have to. You don't have like the training wheels are off, guys, and that clock is ticking regardless of how you spend your time. So that's why I urge you to really spend that time well, because the first years, that's when you want to like just grab everything as much as you humanly can and learn the things that are going to keep you employed for the coming 20 years. Have a great day.